Excuse me, but is this a Miss Aubrey Anderson?
Huh? Who are you? Are you trying to hit on me?
No. I'm the husband of the victim of the accident you caused the other day. My name's Isaac Robbins, and my wife's name is Matilda Robbins. Don't pretend you don't remember.
Oh yeah, I do remember now. It just came back to me, lol. What do you want?
Not what do you want. How do you plan on making up for what you did? In spite of the serious fact you ran my wife over and caused her a very serious injury, you've been ignoring all of my phone calls and actually had the nerve to block me. Luckily, I was able to find your messenger account using your phone number, which is how I'm speaking with you now.
So, those phone calls were about the accident, lol, whoopsie. I thought you were some kind of creep stalker, so I blocked your number. Although it is kind of creepy that you would go out of your way to look up my messenger account. That's really weird, you know. Don't you feel ashamed?
Are you making fun of me? Do you have any idea of the gravity of the situation you're in? My wife's lying in a hospital bed right now after you ran her over because you were playing around on your phone instead of looking at the road. That would be bad enough on its own, but on top of that, you've ignored us for a whole 4 days and didn't show up to visit her in hospital once. Do you feel even an ounce of remorse for what you did?
These things happen. It's not like I had a great time of it myself. I got injured and had to go to the hospital too, you know? I was super busy. I just haven't had the time to visit. It's not that I didn't want to.
I know all about the extent of your injuries. You have a slight graze on your forehead, and that's it. You didn't even need to be admitted. You went home the same day, didn't you? It's been 4 days since then. There's no way you haven't had a chance to come.
Even still, it's not like I have a duty to visit her. I mean, why would I? I'd visit my friends if I ran them over, but you guys are strangers to me. If she wasn't dawdling around the crosswalk like that, I wouldn't have hit her in the first place. I've seen faster snails. Yeah, that's right. The accident was her fault.
What?
Plus, she's injured me too. So we're both in the same boat here. Would you just cut it out already? This is old news now.
It only happened 4 days ago. It is most definitely not old news. You were so distracted by your phone, you ran my wife over right in the middle of a crossing after running a red light. Who the hell do you think you are, speaking about her like that? You broke Matilda's leg!
So what? Bones heal, you know. She'll be fine before long. Just think of it as an opportunity for her to read books and learn sewing or something. Take a chill pill, sheesh. Plus, she's alive, isn't she? What's the big deal? Hopefully, she learned her lesson and drives more safely from now on. Did you know the doctor told me I might have a small scar on my forehead for the rest of my life after this? A small scar! Isn't that just, like, the worst? Don't you feel guilty? What's more important? Some random old woman's leg or my beautiful face? That's a rhetorical question, by the way. You will be paying me if it scars, won't you?
You've gotta be kidding me. Us? Pay you? The only reason you grazed your forehead is because you panicked and swerved into a guardrail after you realized you'd hit my wife. How dare you play the victim? You should be ashamed of yourself, young lady. You don't show any remorse, you don't apologize, yet you have the nerve to demand money from the victim? Just what exactly are you hoping to achieve with this disgraceful attitude of yours?
A disgraceful attitude? I don't know what you mean.
It's considered the right and proper thing to do for the perpetrator to visit the victim in hospital and apologize sincerely in these kinds of situations. Have you no humanity? The only one who should be paying compensation and medical bills is you. Have you no conception of any of this? Where are your morals, young lady?
You can whine at me as much as you want, but I don't have any money to give you. I can't pay you something that doesn't exist. So sorry, but not sorry.
I told you to stop screwing me around! Is there no limit to your selfishness? How can you still think this is a joke? I'll be reporting this to your parents and college.
Hey, don't do that. That'd be a real nuisance for me. My mom would be so mad if she knew I wrecked the car. That's it. I just thought of, like, the best idea of all time. Tell me, old man, how old are you?
What? Where did that come from?
Forget that. Just tell me, how old are you?
34. What does that have to do with anything? Don't try and change the subject.
Wow, 34? Don't forget your Zimmer frame, old man. Maybe it's not too old, though. Okay, I think I can allow it. Okay, here's the idea, old man. So, about the accident the other day, I'm willing to go on a date with you if you agree to forget all about it. One whole day with me! How does that sound?
What?
I'm free all day this Saturday. So I'm willing to go on a date with you if that's what it takes to get you to shut up, Gramps. So, what do you think? You'll go out with me and then we can just forget about what happened, can't we? We can, can't we? Lol.
What on earth are you talking about? I don't understand.
Your mind must be slowing down with your old age. Let me make it super easy to understand. If you let me off the hook and drop all this stuff about money over the accident the other day, I'll go on a date with you. One whole day that you get to spend with me. You should be counting your lucky stars. Chances like this don't come around for guys your age every day. Don't you think it sounds great? You get to hang out with a hot college student all day.
How many times do I have to tell you to stop messing around? Cut it out already! I'm serious! Are you a total moron? There's no way you can make up for what you did to my wife with something like that! How preposterous! I refuse!
Are you sure? I mean, are you really, really sure? How often do you get the chance to hang out with a hot college student? Not often, I'm guessing. Lol. We can do whatever you want for the whole day. Anything.
You really should know when to stop. I'm running out of patience with you. Hanging out with you wouldn't pay my wife's medical bills, nor would it heal her broken leg. All I want is to see some sincerity.
Duh, that's why I'm offering you the chance to go on a date with me. I'm sincerely asking you out on a date, lol. I'm offering you a date out of the goodness of my heart because you seem upset, lol. Surely that's the very definition of sincerity, lol. Plus, if your wife's leg's broken, that means she won't be moving around for a while. Which means you're gonna end up all kinds of frustrated, if you catch my drift. It's unhealthy to let that kind of energy build up, old man, and I'm kindly offering to help out. One thing's for sure, I look a damn sight better than that old hag, lol. Oh, is this why you don't want to go on a date with me? You're so old, it doesn't work anymore? This is too hilarious.
That's enough! I'm taking you to court!
What?
I've been waiting and waiting, sitting tight this whole time waiting for the phone to ring, thinking you would phone us about settling out of court. But nothing came. Now I contact you and this is how you behave? Do you think I'm just going to take your insulting my injured wife lying down? I'll be filing criminal charges against you so you get the punishment you deserve. You'll be hearing from my lawyer over the coming days. Prepare yourself.
Huh? I don't understand what that means, Gramps. Criminal charges? What's that? I know. You're trying to scare me by using big, fancy words. Well, it's not gonna work. Lol.
If you don't understand, I suggest you go and do some research, because reality's going to come knocking on your door very soon. Or are you so lacking in common sense that even something as simple as that is impossible? If you don't figure it out now, your future's going to be ripped away from you in the blink of an eye, and you're not even going to understand how it happened. Why? Because you'll have a criminal record, and you'll owe huge sums of money. And you know what? That's fine by me. I have no intention of negotiating a settlement with you now. I won't sign any petitions for sentence reduction, no matter how much you beg me. I'll see to it that you don't get away with this if it's the last thing I do.
No, please, wait. I just looked it up. If I get a criminal record, that means I'll be a criminal. I'm gonna be a criminal. Me? No, that isn't the life I want to have. Please, wait. And what do you mean by losing my future and owing huge sums of money? That sounds bad.
How do you not understand what I mean? Are you genuinely stupid? Did you accidentally buy a plank of wood instead of a phone? Investigate it by yourself. Maybe if you do, you'll finally realize how serious this situation is.
I looked up what criminal charges means and stuff about severe punishments, sentencing, and prison started coming up. Plus, there were tons of links about compensation payments. Does that mean what I think it means? You have got to be joking me! Like, oh my god, this can't be happening! Me in prison? Please tell me you're bluffing!
I'm not joking, and I'm not bluffing either. In fact, I've never been more serious about anything. Not only did you run over and severely injure my wife, but you responded with the most childish, insolent, disrespectful attitude I've ever seen in a human being. Do you think for one moment I'm going to let you get away with that? Even if you just pretended to be remorseful, even if you just put on an act of being sorry, you are still barely in your 20s, which basically makes you a child, and I would have been willing to discuss settlement out of court. But no, you had to push. You had to be cocky, to be arrogant, to insult me and my wife. Well, if that's how you want to play this, then I swear I will fight you to the last!
No, just wait. I'll be in big trouble if you do that. It says online that it's hard for people with the criminal records to find work. Mom said she'll kick me out if I don't find a job when I graduate college. Ugh. Plus, it says I may have to pay tens of thousands of dollars in compensation. They don't have that kind of money. They don't even know if my mom and dad have that much. Just because I may have lightly brushed your wife as I went past her in the car? Why?
What? How are you somehow suddenly surprised? You wouldn't discuss any kind of settlement. Your attitude's been a disgrace from the outset. You did practically everything you could to make me as angry as possible. You were as good as asking me to take you to court.
I never asked you to do that. All I did was offer to go on a date with you instead of paying compensation. The offer still stands, by the way. How about that date? Let me off the hook and we can go for pizza and drinkies, baby.
How many times do I have to tell you I'm not interested in going on a date with you? I hate stupid, vulgar women like you! I'm instinctually repulsed by the idea of letting you off the hook for running over and breaking my wife's leg by going on a date. Besides, it's not me you need to apologize to. It's my wife!
I get it. I'll apologize to her, I swear. Which hospital is she at? I'll pay you the settlement money, too. Just name your figure. I can get a hold of it. Please, just don't take me to court. Anything but court.
Too little, too late. I already told you we're past the point of apologies and settlement negotiations. From now on, I'm dedicating my life to ensure you get the heaviest punishment possible. I have nothing more to say to you. All further communications will be sent through my lawyer. Expect to hear from him soon. And like I said before, prepare yourself.
Just stop it already! I told you, I'm sorry! Do you have any idea how much trouble I'll be in if you file criminal charges against me? I'll tell my dad if you do it! I swear I will! Believe me, you don't want to see my dad when he's angry!
If you think you have something you need to tell him, then tell him. In any case, I plan on reporting this to your parents anyway, so it's probably in your best interests that he hear it from you first. I'll tell them all about how their daughter ran over my wife, then tried getting out of paying compensation or medical bills by offering to go on a date with me, the victim's husband. Mark my words, by the time I'm finished, they'll know full well what a terrible person their daughter is.
No, don't do it! Please don't tell my dad! He'll get mad at me! He'll stop paying for me to go to college! I'm begging you, please hear me out!
I'm afraid I can't do that. I can feel my IQ drop every time you speak. See you in court. After that, I blocked all contact from Aubrey Anderson. Then I left everything else to my lawyer. I don't know whether it's because they heard from my lawyer, but Aubrey's parents showed up at the hospital with faces as white as sheets. But no longer having any interest in apologies or settlement negotiations, we had the nurses tell them we weren't taking visitors and sent them on their way. The result? Aubrey Anderson was found guilty in court. The judge ordered her to pay us a whopping $40,000 in compensation and medical bills. Her parents were no longer willing to cover her tuition fees, so she was forced to drop out of college, and to add insult to injury, they kicked her out of the house and cut off all ties with her. She really was an irredeemable fool. Thankfully, my wife's leg healed nicely, and she made a full recovery. She was able to return to her normal life, pretty much unchanged from how it was before, and I'm very relieved about that.
Hey, you no-good, grubby little leech. I want to know just how long you plan on surviving off of all my dad's hard work. Don't you realize we'd all be so much happier if you just got out of our lives? I haven't heard from you in so long, and this is the way you break the silence? I feel like you've been completely ignoring me around the house as well, you know. I really don't know what's gotten into you, but I'm starting to get a bit sick of it. I mean, you're not even cooking the meals that I'm making for you anymore. And just who do you think you are talking to me as if you're my real mom, huh? You really need to remember your place in this family, you parasite. I'm sorry that you don't like the way I worded things, but I don't see how anything I said was false. I don't care what's true and what's false. I just know that I want you out of our lives. I really don't understand. Why are you coming to me and saying all of this all of a sudden? It's not so sudden for me. I know that my dad and I are going to be just fine on our own. We don't need some outsider leeching off of my family's wealth anymore. I'm sorry you feel this way about me, but maybe you should talk about these feelings with your father first. Then maybe we could all talk about this together with each other. Maybe your dad would even agree to move out and take you somewhere. And just why would my dad have to do something like that, huh? It's his house. If anyone should have to leave, it should be you. I really think that you should talk to your father about this before we carry on with this talk. Besides, I make $100,000 a year. What am I leeching off of anyone? I think you just want me out of the house is all. But what I don't get is what you think you're going to gain by doing so. What am I going to gain? Well, that should be obvious. I'll finally be ridding my family of a disgusting parasite that's been living off of us for years. Even Dad is getting sick of having you around. He's always talking about how he has to work all day, but you always spend all of his money. Meanwhile, you hardly leave anything for him to spend on himself. Did your dad really say that? Even about him having to work every day? Well, it's true, isn't it? You're always coming and going to and from the house whenever you want, but Dad only ever goes to work and comes home, and that's all he has time for. And it's all your fault! You keep a short leash and don't let him live his life the way he wants. I hate what you're doing to him! Tina, I really think that you need to get a grip and reassess the situation. And I don't say that for my sake, but for yours, okay? Just what do you know, huh? Don't pretend as if you know what I want. I know that you're a selfish woman who only ever does things for herself. That's why I want you out of our lives forever. I am trying to tell you that you're making a mistake here. You really need to go and talk to your dad about this. He can explain it all. Let me go and talk to him for a moment, and then I'll come back to you, okay? Can you please just give it a rest already with what you say to Tina?
What the heck are you talking about? I don't really care, but can you lend me some money? I'm almost through my budget for the month, and I need more! Come on! You know that you don't give me enough anyways. Just give me a little more!
You want even more money? What happened to all that I gave you already? How did you spend it all so quickly? Anyways, we're going to be talking about money after I say what I came here to say. You need to have a real conversation with your daughter and tell her the truth about what's going on. The more you put that off, the worse my relationship gets with her. I am tired of her talking down to me, insulting me, and treating me like an idiot because of you, Todd. I am seriously starting to reach my limit. Do you understand me?
I don't know what you want me to do. She's your daughter now, too, you know. Go be a good mom and learn how to control your children better.
Control her? Todd, she's already 17 years old. This isn't about controlling her. It's about giving her the information she needs to make her own decisions about life. You have to stop lying to her and telling her false information. She blames me for every single problem we have. It isn't fair that I should be the one taking all of the heat because you don't want to step up and tell her the truth. All of this would be solved if you weren't such a coward.
I will talk to Tina about my life when I'm good and ready to. Okay?
No, not when you're ready to. Now. You've been saying, when I'm ready, for years now. Don't you realize how this is affecting us as a whole family?
Yeah, of course. I know all that. And if you just give me a little more money, I'll really think about saying something. I promise. Now come on. I'm seriously down to my last few dollars. You've got to give me something.
You really are just the worst. Do you realize that, Todd? Hey there, Anna. I see that you've left for the day. You know that you don't need to bother coming back home ever, right? And just what is that supposed to mean? And since when did you start calling me by my first name? I mean that if you're already out of the house, you should stay out. All you do is make things worse, so just keep away. If you have something you want to say to me, why don't you just come out and say it? Well, I actually sent off the divorce papers for you and Dad. That means that you and him don't need to live together anymore. Dad and I are going to live together, and you'll have to go and figure out your own life. So you really did send the divorce papers for your father and I? And just how did you manage to get away with doing something like that? Well, you probably had no idea about this, but Dad had already printed out the divorce papers and kept them in his desk. I happened to see where he put them one day when he tried to hide them from me, and so I dug them out while he was away. I saw that he had already signed his name all where it needed to be. I really do need to thank Dad for being so prepared. So then you sent out divorce papers that your dad had already signed without telling either of us? I have to say that I am shocked at you. And since you don't even have a job, you probably won't be able to find a place to live now, too. I warned you that you should do a little more research into this before acting, but Are you sure you really want me out of the house? Of course I am! This is what I've been waiting for forever! I feel like I'm having a dream come true! I'm finally getting to squash the horrible leech that's been on the side of my family for years. I feel at ease. It's like a great burden has been lifted off of our shoulders and the sun has come out after a rainy day. Just the thought of you being cold and homeless on the street is bringing me so much joy! Well, if this is what you really want, good luck, I guess. The one who's going to need luck is you! Whatever you say. I guess I'll take my leave from the house then. But I just have one last thing that I think you should know before I leave. And what last pathetic words do you have to say to me? I'm not the one who doesn't have a job. That would be your father. Wait, what is that supposed to mean? I mean that you said your father told you that he goes to work every day. That's a lie. All he does is spend his days at the casino wasting our money. Wait a second, you expect me to believe that? That's just ridiculous. Why would Dad lie to me about working? And why would he be spending all day gambling? I suppose this really is the first you're hearing about all of this then. But it's true. I'm afraid that everything your father said about me was just to protect his own reputation in your eyes, Tina. I don't get what you mean. This doesn't make any sense. Why would he need to worry about his reputation with me? I don't know. You should ask what he would have to gain by belittling me in front of you like he has been. He wanted you to take his side in everything. And you fell for it like a sucker. You defended him no matter what I tried to say, and you believed every lie he told you about me. No, this doesn't make any sense. You better start explaining yourself right this moment. In that case, one other thing you should know is that no matter how much your father put me down, he never wanted to throw me out of the house. And yet little did he know that he was pushing you to do just that to me with all of his lies about me being jobless. No, this can't be right. You're just trying to lie to me because you realize that you're getting kicked out. Well, I'm not listening. You're just some crazy old jealous loser. You can believe me or not. It won't really make any difference. But the truth is that I was giving your father money every month. He hasn't made his money in a long time, and yet you listened to everything he had to say about me. You really don't know when to stop all this, do you? I already said that I'm not listening to a word that you have to say anymore. Again, you are more than welcome to ignore all that I'm saying, but quite frankly, I've had enough of you two as well. But soon you'll be an adult, and you'll have to take responsibility for taking care of yourself. And then you'll have to choose whether to keep living with your father or go out on your own. I've actually learned how to take care of myself for a while now. We don't need you in our life anymore, so just beat it! Well, okay. But you do realize that if I leave, that means I won't be supporting you or your father anymore, right? There you go again, making up more lies! What support have you ever given? You really think that I'm going to fall for that? You act like you've given Dad and I everything when all you've done is taken. I know you're lying, so just stop it already! I'm not trying to upset you, Tina. I really am just trying to warn you. I just hope you don't regret what you're doing. Just shut up already, you old hag! Don't pretend like you're all that when you're really nothing! I never, ever want to see you again. You were never my mother, and I'm glad you're gone! Don't ever think of me as your daughter again. As of today, you're nothing to me. We are complete strangers. Okay then, I understand. I am not your mother, and you are not my daughter. Now, please don't come to me for anything else. Hey! Pick up the phone when I'm calling you, you stupid old witch! Can't you tell that your daughter is panicked? I'm sorry, but I'm in the middle of work right now. Besides, I thought that you said you were going to stop calling me. But you were telling the truth about everything! I know that. What of it? Well, so now I finally know that you were! Please, you have to come back home to us! Dad is so mad all the time. I need your help. I really have no idea what you're talking about. Besides, I don't even have a daughter. What do you mean? How can you say that? I didn't. You did. You told me to never think of you as my daughter again. So I'm sorry that you're having a rough time right now, lady, but that doesn't have anything to do with me. Anyways, goodbye. Hold on a second! Is this supposed to be some kind of joke? I'm your daughter! You can't just walk away from me! I'm sorry, but I've already told you that I don't have a daughter. We're just strangers to each other, remember? Wait, no, you're not really going to abandon me, are you? I didn't know Dad doesn't make any more. And he's so mad at me for sending the divorce papers. He's so scary and angry all the time now. I don't understand what happened. So I guess you finally understand the kind of man your father is now. What do you mean by that? I mean that I was always trying to protect you from him, but maybe that was my mistake. Because he took advantage of that and lied to you about me instead. But I had no idea he was that kind of person. I thought that my dad was kind and sweet, and what should I do now? He doesn't have money, he doesn't work, he doesn't do anything but gamble and drink. I suppose you had better find a job and start working then. But I'm still in high school! I could only work a part-time job at best, and I have no idea how I'm supposed to go to college at this rate. Yeah, and to think you wouldn't have had to take out any loans if I was still around. What do you mean? You're not going to send me to college either? Well, I had a whole college fund saved up for my daughter, but since we're no longer family, I'm afraid that I can't pass that on to you. So I'm afraid the only option left for you now is to work for your money. Mom, please, you have to help me! Please don't call me Mom. I already told you that I don't have any children. You and I are nothing to each other now, and I owe you nothing. You wanted it this way despite my attempts to warn you, and now you need to take responsibility. You're almost 18, so consider this your first real life lesson. But I had no idea that Dad was lying to me! This isn't fair! How was I supposed to know that you were making all the money in our house? I tried to tell you the truth over and over again, but you just refused to listen to me. Well, then can I at least come and live with you? I hate living with Dad. He's so scary all the time. I'm so sorry for everything that I said to you. I'm afraid that I have a policy against letting strangers stay in my house. Besides, how do I know that you won't just fall into your old ways of looking down on me and insulting me all the time? But I need your help! I don't know what else to do! Well then, take your first step as an adult and figure out what to do. Good luck, stranger! In the end, Tina realized that I was only ever trying to tell her the truth, and that it was her father who was lying to her this whole time. It was quite a shock for her to realize this, and she fell into a deep depression afterwards. Shocked by learning about her father's true nature and forced to start working to take care of herself, Tina ended up dropping out of high school and working to sustain herself and her father. She tried to message me asking for help, but I had already blocked her on everything by then. I do plan on stepping in to help her eventually, but if I'm going to pour all my money and heart into raising her, I think Tina needs to learn some lessons about the real world before I put her back on track.